right, this is going to be a very personal video. It's going to be something that I'm going to share with you from my heart. I've written down the 5 points, and generally people ask me what are the regrets that you have in life, or what is the lowest point in your life. So I thought I would write down. I would think. I'd spend some time think and write down what were the 5 lowest points in my life, which really not just impacted me in such a way that it made me afraid or it broke my heart, but it really changed me. It defined me who I am. Remember, it is not the great moments that make you, it is the lowest points. So I've written down 5 of them, and I'll share with you. Feel free to comment and let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Okay, so yeah, I've rated them my top 5. So I'll start with number 5. This was, I think, when I was 16 years old or so. After school, I decided to technically kind of run away from home. I didn't want to stay with my parents because they were not ready to send me to the college which I wanted to. Well, that is another story in itself. There was a girlfriend and this and that. If you're interested in that story, I can tell you later. 16-year-old doing 16-year-old nonsense. Okay, so they were not willing to send me for college and all that. So I was fed up and tired, and I was a rebel. So I told them I'm going to go to work. And they were like, you ain't going to go to work. What are you going to do? So I wanted to prove it to them, and I literally managed to apply through, those days also contacts, connections, references. And I managed to get a job in, if you are someone who stays in UAE, especially Abu Dhabi, in the 80s, you'd know what I'm talking about. There was a cinema called El Dorado Cinema. It's a landmark. It's no longer there. So there were movies being played there. So it was just, you cross the road, Abu Dhabi Plaza Residence. I'm pretty sure those buildings must be there. They keep giving them out on rent and changing. Like, you have to literally lease out the whole building. Okay. So those days, it was taken over by a management, and they named the place Abu Dhabi Plaza Residence. So it was a brand new hotel, and I'll see if I can get a photograph of me, long-haired, good-looking young man. So I was a 16-year-old young, good-looking guy. Okay, and I wanted a job, and the only job available apparently was either a waiter or a bellboy. Bellboy, you pick up the luggage. So they kind of gave me. They realized for the waiter's job, I didn't know anything about being a waiter. Bellboy, it's kind of simple. Just take the luggage and bring it in and, welcome the guests. So they found the bellboy much more easier, and it was during the day. And I don't know, maybe I was not too good at that job, or maybe they felt I was too distracted, because you have to literally stand out in the sun, or sometimes they let you in the shade. But you have to stand outside the hotel. In some hotels, they have this Sardar who's standing outside. Anyone comes in, takes their luggage. So either that, or, it is you stand inside. So I don't know why, but they put me in the midnight shift. They put me sometimes in the dead night shift. So I didn't have to interact with very many people. But whenever I did have to interact, there were people coming in. So, initially I was excited wearing the uniform and standing outside, taking people's luggage. But I'll tell you where it really got to me. Okay, initially I was just happy. I'm earning money, like you think pocket money. But one day when I was at the evening shift and standing there, remember, I'm a 16-year-old young man, standing there just looking. All of a sudden, this Pakistani family comes, and father, mother, the car stops, and out comes these 3 girls. Okay, and these girls are as young as me. They are 16, 18, 17 and all that. So they come out, and they're laughing, they're giggling, and they must have come on a holiday. And obviously I went to pick up their luggage. And then these girls saw me, and they're like, hey, isko dekh, they were talking in their Urdu. So they're saying, look at this guy, he looks so cute and all that. And then they said, yeah, he's a worker. He's like They kind of put me down and said, he's working here. So one girl looked at me and like, he's a worker, but he looks nice and he looks like a nice guy. I don't know whether they knew that I understood what they were talking, but I took the luggage. And I'll tell you, for a 16-year-old boy to be embarrassed by 16-year-old girls, it kind of felt really bad. And then obviously the father, he was a little classy and all that. He's saying, Beta, means son, come here and take the luggage, okay. And then after that, I had to leave it to their room and he gave me 1 or 2 coins. And out of these three girls, one was really empathetic towards me and she was very nice, But the other two girls, they were like, taking, like they say, taking the mickey out of me and making fun of me. And they even gave me like a coin. Here, take for you. And they were laughing and giggling. I felt so bad, yeah. I felt, for a 16-year-old boy, it kind of hurt. It really, really kind of hurt. Okay. And I don't know, I was just depressed after that. I was just very upset. And every time anybody would come, yeah, I would pick up their luggage. But when I would see someone of my age, like a guy or a girl, I would really feel bad. So that was point number 5, the lowest point in my life. Point number 4 was when I went to Dublin, Ireland. And this was, I think, at the age of 21 after, if you check my videos where I speak about being divorced to my first wife, the Irish wife. And that is where, after we got divorced, she decided not to help me. I was Indian in a new country, Dublin, Ireland, Clondalkin, which was a village. I didn't know anyone. Nobody knew me. And obviously, I'm Indian and I look Indian, sound Indian. And I was still young and handsome, but I didn't know where to go, what job to get. So finally, I managed to get a job in a petrol station run by 2 guys. And initially, they appointed me as an assistant manager because I was smart and this and that. But little did I know that, assistant manager means I'm supposed to sort out, like you have, when you go to a petrol station, there is like a grocery, a mini mart. Okay. Now, I didn't know what work to do in a mini mart. I didn't know that you have to, the items which have an expiry date, you bring them front. I didn't know how to do stock taking. I didn't know anything. I just applied for a job and I thought assistant manager I'll get. Very soon they realized I was not fit for that job. And when they told me I was terminated, I broke down and cried. And then they realized, oh, okay, this guy is going through a tough time. Because I really was. I didn't have any food. I didn't have any money. And I would walk 5 kilometers every day to work. And 5 kilometers in the night time, in the shivering cold, I would come back. Just imagine, alone. So they felt pity for me and they decided, okay, we are removing him as an assistant manager. Okay, let's give him as a helper, for petrol and putting petrol and all that. But the first day that he gave me this job, remember, I came, I forgot to tell you, I came with a suit and tie because, it was cold there and I would come like properly dressed. But the uniform that they gave me was, coveralls. And then they gave me a broom and told me to sweep, the streets outside the petrol, remove all the sand. And I'll tell you, if you have never done it and you're doing it for the first time, it'll really hit you. And I was sweeping the streets. And I really asked myself, all this personality, all this kind of so-called education, all this whatever upbringing, to become a sweeper on the road. And I really felt terrible. Yeah, I really felt terrible. And when the cars were parking there, I had to go, yes, sir, and wipe the window and all that. I really felt down here. And then I saw one guy, white guy. He was cleaning up the sewage, taking the sewage to the pipe, and hey, how's it going, mate? And he's talking to me. But I'll tell you, that was a terrible low point in my life. And I asked myself, is this what my future is? For a 21-year-old to be sweeping the roads, it's not something that, and I didn't know what my future held for me. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 3 is, this one is kind of semi-emotional. This was during 2011 when I lost everything. And I've posted the video that I lost everything and I was on the streets of India. Penniless, homeless. So when I did come back, my mentor Murad gave me a visa to come back. He removed the fake ban or the criminal case that was falsely put on me. So, and he did give me a job, but the job that was available was only like a events coordinator kind of. Because he didn't need me, but he did give me a job so that I could at least do something, and I'm grateful to him for that. But here's the thing. Um, by coordinator, you're supposed to, he is to do events. By coordinator means you have to do things, shift things, be a helper, take the guys, drop them. It's all miscellaneous jobs, which for me, something is better than nothing. And he did give me the pickup truck. It was a pickup truck, and he told me, you can take this home so that you can drive home and keep it and come back to work the next day. So I was grateful for that. But I didn't realize how it would hit me when the girl I was dating that time, she was working in Emirates Airlines. She was, bless her, she turned out to be my second wife. Sorry, wife number three. Yeah, third wife, which I've spoken about. She is an amazing person, amazing. I have nothing but respect, and I've always even told my wife I speak highly about her. But remember, this is me in 2011. Just a few months ago, I was driving a Range Rover, full options. I sat in a Rolls Royce. Couple of years, months before that, I had my own Lexus RX 330. I was driving luxury cars that BMW or Mercedes that I would just rent out and go for a drive. So that was my profile. Going to five-star hotels, Burj Al Arab, Jumeirah Beach, just spending money. And after that, 2011 took place. And here I'm driving a pickup truck, small, mini. And then we were supposed to go for a movie. To Dera City Center. And it didn't strike me until I was sitting there waiting. And finally she comes down. And remember, this is an old, dilapidated pickup truck, which Pathans and, workers drive. So she finally came. She looked dressed up. She was pretty decked up, like attractive, not overly dressed up. And she came and sat down. When she sat down there, it struck me like I look like a fucking driver. I just realized here I am, once upon a time driving a Range Rover, once upon a time driving a Lexus RX 330, and I used to take the same girl in those vehicles. Now I'm driving a pickup truck, and I just broke down and I cried because there was too much going on in my life. And I said, I'm going to take you in this pickup truck. I was crying and telling her, it's so embarrassing. How can you even be with me? How can you even walk with me? How can you even be seen with me? I told her, and she was quiet. She knew I was heartbroken, and she just pacified me and said, listen, if it bothers you so much, we will not take this car. You can take my car. It's your car, my car, same thing. But I'll tell you, there I was at another low point in my life, knowing that I'm driving a pickup truck which is for, workers, and taking a girl from Emirates Airlines, where once upon a time I was taking her in Range Rovers and Lexus vehicles. But bless her, she is an incredible human being whom I'll always have respect. For her, whether I was poor or rich, it didn't matter. Just that she was my best friend. I never loved her. That was the only problem. But yeah, that really hurt me. That really got to me. And I was like, I can't do this, man. Then number two, I've already put videos on this, 2011. The losing everything, the suicide video on YouTube. But the lowest point in my life there was not the suicide attempt at the railway station. Rather, it was when I booked the hotel room and I sat in, Kannur, near the railway station. There is one hotel. Maybe I'll one day go and visit that place. I sat in this cheap one bedroom, this thing, and I was sitting there all alone. Curtains were drawn. It was dark. It was morning, but it was, when you draw the curtain, it's kind of orangey, reddish tint. And I was sitting there, just my backpack, whatever little bit I had, one laptop. And it's totally quiet. I was not listening to music. I was not listening to everything. And every time I kept looking at the fan up and asking myself, what is preventing me from ending it all? I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to take anyone's calls. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was like a vegetable. There was no hope. There was nothing. I was like, what am I doing with my life? Like, do I want to do something in my life? Do I have the courage? Do I have the energy to start all over again? At the age of 36, I've lost everything. I'm a nothing. I'm a nobody. I don't have any money. I don't have friends. I don't have contacts. And here I'm penniless. Even my own parents, relatives, nobody wants me. It was a defining moment for me. Defining. And I'll tell you, like I told you, I snapped out of it only after I went out, and as I was walking, and this cow, baby calf or whatever, came right in front of me, lifted its tail and started urinating near my leg. And that is where I snapped out, and I got pissed off. I was like, what the, fuck is this? Like, I'm not going to be treated like shit anymore. So anyway, but that part, sitting in that dark hotel for hours and hours, questioning my life, was at number two. And that was at the age of 36. And the biggest low point in my life, the most painful, was the first time I ever experienced a massive setback. The first time. And that was my Irish wife after we got married. When I see, being an Indian passport holder and living in Dubai, you always want to make something out of your life. And there was always the hope that, remember, there was no internet. Internet was there, but there was no Google. There was no Facebook. There was no social media. So for an Indian, getting a white man's passport, citizenship, foreign country was a dream come true. So when I met this girl, my Irish wife, she promised me, you'll get a citizenship, this, and she was playing with whatever was my weakness. I was so happy, and I went there. And when I remember, before leaving UAE, I was like, goodbye camel country. I was 21. Goodbye camel country. Goodbye desert. Goodbye you Indians. I'm going to be a foreigner. I'm going to be a white passport. The arrogance and ignorance that I had. And I remember touching down. I saw London Bridge for the first time through the airplane. I was sitting in business class. Saw this guy with a Nokia communicator. I was like, wow, I'm living the dream. Then I got down in Dublin, Ireland. And it was cold. It was just normal. There was nothing like wow, like Manhattan or Hollywood. It was just a simple village, empty roads. I was like, okay, fine. Remember, this was at the age of 21. I'm 47 now. So nearly 36 years ago. That's quite a long time. 36? 26 years, yeah. So, I tried my level best to settle down there. Even after things didn't work out, even after she turned out to be a fraud, a scammer, I tried jobs as a waiter, as a cleaner, even they call it domestic engineer, but you're like, in the theater, you clean even the toilets, and toilets are very clean there. There's hardly anyone who uses it. So I tried all different jobs, being a security guy and all that, because I wanted to stay there. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to prove a point. But that female would make life miserable for me at every end, at every point, and there was nobody to help me. So finally, after literally being without a job, without food, I'll make a video of this, that one drunk truck guy who drove a truck. He used to be hated by everyone there. People used to make fun of him. But when he saw me like not doing anything and always walking, he invited me to his truck. He used to buy me sandwiches. He used to buy me food. And one fine day, this was when I was in touch with my mother. My mother said, why don't you come back? You'll be a king in Dubai, your own family. You don't have to take shit and be a cleaner or a helper or beg for food. And for me to say goodbye to my dream, to live in Ireland, to get that white passport, it took me 9 months of suffering. And finally, after my mother's brainwashing, I finally gave up. And I'll tell you, I didn't tell anyone, but the day I left, the guy in the truck, he drove to drive me at the airport. I still remember this. I got down at the airport, and obviously you have to check in. And there I knew that I have to walk through the duty free and through the immigration, and then board the aircraft, and then I'll be going back to Dubai. Oh, it broke my heart. It broke my heart so much. I wept for nearly an hour. For me, at 21, I thought it was the end of my life. I thought it was the end of my dream. I thought there was nothing more to live for, nothing more to look forward to. And the very fact that I had to walk through that airport, I was in so much pain. They say mental and emotional agony. I didn't want to go, but I had no choice. And oh, and I'll tell you, it hit me so badly that I thought I lost my dream. I lost my that citizenship, Gora passport, which was my dream always. It took me close to 2 years to recover from it. Not joking. 6 months was when I landed in Dubai and my parents picked me up, and then I shaved my head. I used to sit in my room all alone, just sit like a vegetable. And my mother, she tried. That was the one time she really wanted to help me because I was sitting like a vegetable at home, just like this. This was in such a bad state of shock that she took me everywhere. And I once saw her, she took me to a minister's house in Ajman. She knew the lady. And the lady, they made me sit on a table and was just sitting there, just like this. They gave me food. And then I saw my mother going in, and then she broke down and said, "My son has become like a vegetable." And I could see that, but I didn't react. It took me quite some time to get over this. It was bad. It was really bad. And that is where I started the shaved bald look. Initially, it really didn't suit me for the first 2 years. And everyone could make out I was depressed. I was, you know, trying to get out of it. 2 years, just imagine. 6 months was bad. 6 months, I was just sitting like this. Like, it hit me so bad, yeah. But yeah, like they say, all's well that ends well. Today, when I think about it, I'm kind of glad I'm not saying like Fox saying that the grapes are sour, but I'm glad I didn't get that citizenship because there would have been a lot more complications given that my that time first ex-wife. I don't know if she has changed. I'm pretty sure she has changed. She has become a better person. But given the complications of the relationship and insecurities and the emotional baggage she and I were carrying, we both were immature. I'm sure she would have made my life miserable and I would have got deported. And given the fact that she stayed in a village in Clondalkin, there's nothing much happening there. Today, they are settled down. I see sometimes on the Facebook. I have nothing bad to say about them, but I don't think it would have been best. It was a good thing I came back because then I could relive my life, make all the mistakes, all the excitement. And yeah, maybe in a parallel universe, I should have been there, but again. So yeah, the most painful was Dublin, Ireland. I, as an honorable mention, I would say that apart from this, the only bonus one is when that girl whose face I tattooed here, she dumped me. Oof, that emotional this thing that happened in my 30s. I used to always laugh at people who cry over a broken relationship, broken heart. Being a playboy, I never thought it would happen to me. But when that girl left me, the girl whose face is tattooed here, it took 6 years, 6 years to get rid of her memories. And the first 3 months, just locked myself in the house. Terrible. So if I would say the number one at a tie would be this girl and leaving Dublin, Ireland. But in where this girl is concerned, at least I had a good job, money, contacts, everyone. But with that Dublin, Ireland, nobody, nobody. For a 21-year-old, that was my first major failure, and I didn't know know how to manage it. Anyway, I'm still alive, and those memories are still there. But like they say, it's not the good times; it's tough times that make you stronger. Tough times don't last; tough people do. And I'm here, and all I have is those memories that have made me who I am. So yeah, these were the lowest points in my life. Maybe the only other low point I can think of right now is when my mentor told me that, who knew my mother very well, said, your mother never loved you. Phew, that broke my heart. Story for another day. Anyway, you guys take care. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hope this video give you some insight about me. All right? So, guys, take care.